In a book called 1984, they did this thing that they called rectify. They would rectify history. In other words, they would change whatever would be the history of a given thing to whatever they needed it to be at the time, right? And it made me start thinking to myself, like, is Donald Trump trying to rectify history from time to time? Like when he does something like says that Greenland, for example, that's a great example. He said that weren't we there like in Greenland, when Greenland was discovered, and which of course we weren't because our country hadn't even, existed when the first people stepped on Greenland, right? But we say to ourselves, yeah, well, he's just out of his mind. No, what if he's trying to rewrite history? What if in his mind, right, he's going to keep selling this story that Americans set foot on Greenland first, therefore Americans have a right to Greenland. He's going to sell this story until at some point in time, after Greenland has become part of America, right, that he can even convince that all Americans that we always had Greenland, right? He could get it to the point where even the people who lived in Greenland forgot, right, that Greenland ever belonged to Denmark. He could get that all erased. Now, of course, this was in the book 1984. This is how they would rewrite history, all right? So that after a few generations, and I'm using Greenland as an example, that after a few generations, Trump is not insane when he says that Americans step foot on Greenland anymore. It becomes the historical truth, right? Now, this can't possibly happen because we live in the day and age of the internet, right? Right. Yeah, all knowledge is like quantified somewhere, and there's no way that people are going to forget that the people from Denmark set foot on Greenland first, and that the Inuits are the people who lived in Greenland, and so on and so forth. And Greenland was not ever a part of America until just recently, right? Or whatever, but we got the internet. We can get those facts. But what if somebody like, I don't know, Google just copied all the books of history of man, like put them all in some sort of huge data center or a couple of data centers, right? It'd be like the Library of Alexandria, right? The Library of Congress time, right? Yeah, that thing that Alexander had back in the old days. Yeah, that had all the knowledge of mankind, right? And the Library of Congress. Yeah, Google's going to just copy all those books. Now, what happens if the building, the Library of Congress, is gone, and all we have is that Google record? Well, I guess they could change a few things here and there, and nobody would know the difference between what was real and what wasn't. Yeah. When our president starts saying stuff like that sounds stupid to you, saying stuff like that we were on Greenland before Greenland, yeah, because American didn't exist. No. He's rectifying history. He's doing this in all sorts of other places. I'm just using Greenland as an example. He's trying to rectify history. If he had his way, we would own Greenland. We always own Greenland. Nobody else owned Greenland. Okay? And according to the book 1984, this could happen in the course of 30, 40, 50 years. According to the book. According to the book. Yeah. Couldn't really happen. People couldn't possibly be that stupid. No. I ran out of stuff to say, and I'm doing one of these things where, to be sure you know that you are talking and listening to a human being, I am being fallible. So I'm not always being clear. And I'm stretching it to like the 5-minute mark. Because if you noticed, like a lot of these AI stuff, it's all about the shorts, it's just eye-popping stuff. And right now, I'm not popping anything. I'm just making sure that any humans that are still sitting there know that this is a human still sitting here. And I'm waiting out the clock. I'm literally just waiting out the clock. I should probably think of something funny to say. I've got 8 seconds. Well, tell you what. Look at my dogs. Herbie, get over here. See? There you go. Now we're past 5 minutes.